We created project timelines and methodologies. We identified system needs that needed to be addressed, manual processes and procedures where appropriate. We also reviewed and provided feedback on draft procedures, just fine tuning several different drafts until we felt that it was right. We developed a repository of sample manuals, processes, and documents for use and adaptation by the district. And a very special thanks to your IT staff who set up a secure portal, and they give permission to who can access that portal to have access to that specific comprehensive sustainability plan, so that it's not kept a secret. Everyone that's working on it can go in there and see what the status is. I believe that Dr. Avery has assigned one person per area, like for human resources and business, to ensure that the sustainability plan is updated accurately. I'm now going to turn it over to my colleague, Betty Russell, to talk to you about budget development. Next slide, please.
Good afternoon. In many instances, the CLA audit pointed out issues for us to look at. But in many cases, Public Works had to dig down to find out the root cause for the issue. And for almost all of the recommendations that remain in progress, there are 3 areas where that progress is needed. The areas are technology, procedures, and training. When we came to the district, many of the financial processes were being carried out with Excel spreadsheets and etc. What we identified during the course of our work with the finance people was that they did not have a good report writing software. So as you can see on this slide, 5 of the recommendations are complete. The ones that are in progress are specifically waiting on a report writing software called AlloView that will be coming out of Power School, and it will allow the finance function to have a linkage with the principals and the department heads so that they can see their budgets and actually work with them. It will produce new and better reports for the board on the financial operations. It will produce a traditional budget book, which your district has not had over the last few years. So implementation of AlloView really impacts a number of these recommendations. Next slide, please. In the budget monitoring and reporting process, same issue. It's hard to report on the budget when people do not have access to the Munis files, or the Munis files are so complex that it's difficult for principals and department heads to actually see and understand their budgets. So again, AlloView is linked in with almost every one of these recommendations. Once AlloView is implemented, which it's planned for this year, for this budget cycle, once AlloView is up and running, then those procedures that we've drafted that have holes for how do you do this in AlloView, they will fill those in, and then they will have to train the staff on how to use the AlloView system, how to see the reports, et cetera, et cetera. So, as I said, every one of the items that are in progress are directly linked to technology, procedures, and training, and pretty much in that order. Next slide. Next slide, please. Accounts payable, yes. In the purchasing area, one of the first things we heard was we need to get rid of form stack. We need to have the campuses and the departments entering their requisitions directly into Munis so that the munis control process can be activated. This is a great process, but as we got into this, there were parts and pieces that we needed out of Munis or out of the old form stack system or out of Power School in order to make all of this work. The activity funds were a particular challenge because moving the activity funds off of Excel spreadsheets that were being maintained at the campus level and moving it into Munis required many other processes and procedures, such as the implementation of procurement cards, the setting up of banking arrangements, et cetera, et cetera. So as Public Works went through each of these recommendations, the staff, we took the procedures to the point that we could get them and then help them to identify a good piece of technology that would help them to move forward. And now they're in the process of implementing that technology and training staff, finishing up the procedures, etc. So just because something says it's in progress, that does not mean that progress has not been made. We have made significant progress. The staff are working very hard on this, and we appreciate all that they're doing. Next slide, please. In the accounting area, there are some technical issues that I'm sure the administration will be bringing to you that are dealing with this recording revenues and not offsetting expenditures. That is definitely one item that will probably remain in progress for another year. But in the other areas, we have set up the internal control processes. They are in Munis, they are working. The facilities management and communication, we have capital improvement plans that went through the board. It involved input from the principals, from the department heads, and was very comprehensive. And we believe that the communication now between the facilities management area and the campuses has improved significantly. Next slide, please. I'm going to turn this over to Leslie Cathy.
Hi, I'm Leslie. There are 4 HR related audit recommendations that you see here on this slide, but just like Betty mentioned in the finance area, the same thing is happening in the HR area. All of these issues really relate to technology, procedures, and training. And typically in that area, I wanted to highlight kind of where we were when we started and where we are now. When we began assisting the district, there was primarily manual processes in place. As we talked about form stack a little bit. They weren't, you weren't using Munis or Power School at that point. There weren't any HR procedures in place. There were lots of internal control weaknesses that had not been identified. And that was happening primarily because payroll was doing much of what HR would typically be doing because HR did not at that point have Munis access. Training wasn't occurring for new employees at onboarding for the systems that they'll be accessing, and training was not occurring on the board adopted policies and procedures to implement those policies. So here we are. Now let's talk about technology, procedures, and training. So with technology, we have assisted HR to identify where those manual processes would need to shift in a Power School environment. And with procedures, so we went through, as I mentioned, there weren't any procedures in place. We documented all the procedures with screenshots and the role of each individual HR employee and what was happening at the time that we were there on site. And we have been able to identify and map the processes that were in place from the beginning of the process of posting the application through the departure of employees. And we've particularly identified how to solve those internal control weaknesses to make a more efficient operation. And those are the things that you're seeing that are in progress, because now in a shift from the manual process to Power School, some of those procedures will still need to be updated as those systems get adopted and in place. And then with training, we recommended for HR to coordinate at the training level, not necessarily conduct all the training, but be the coordinator to ensure that all employees know what kind of systems that they're going to be accessing and what they have to do. That should happen at onboarding. And we also developed and provided, when we talked about all the tools that we provided, we developed a tool for HR to use as a resource that includes both the policy adoption date, the dates that staff are trained on the policies, as well as the dates of trainings on procedures that are being developed that implement the policies that you as the board adopt. And having all that in place in an effective and efficient operation to be sure that everybody knows what's going on and everybody knows how to do their job. So those are all, again, technology, procedures, and training. If we can get a handle on all of those in HR, we'll be in a good, in a better position. So that concludes the HR issues, and I want to return it back to Betty.
Next slide, please. These are items that are directly related to the CLA recommendations. But as I said to begin with, when Public Works began digging into things, we found several items that we felt were worthy of additional work. One of them was in the area of benefits. CLA pointed out that terminations were not being processed in a timely manner, etc. Well, connected to that was the fact that benefits were not being discontinued or added in a systematic way, and no one was going back and checking. We found a number of examples of errors that had occurred over long periods of time, and they were corrected. Now we have set in motion a process whereby the benefits are being verified on a monthly basis. And the bargaining agreements, as they relate to benefits, we pointed out some issues where there are differences in the way that overtime is being managed, etc. And we made recommendations for, as these bargaining agreements are being negotiated in the future, to try to bring some consistency between the groups. Payroll, as Leslie mentioned, it became a key part of all of this when there were vacancies in the HR leadership role. And finance took over many of the processes and procedures that needed to be carried out in HR, but were not being carried out in HR. What ended up happening is payroll ended up with the ability to set up employees, issue paychecks, set salary rates, terminate employees, and there was no separation of duties in how that occurred. So what we worked with and are still, it is in progress, is training HR staff to be able to take back some of the functions that were pushed into finance so that there is an adequate internal control process in place. Cash handling, I think I've mentioned this in earlier conversations, but as we began looking at activity funds and just the cash handling processes in general, things that were happening in the grants area, etc., where bags full of money were being brought without any reconciling paperwork. We've worked very, very diligently with staff to try to, number one, identify a parent portal that parents can use to pay online so that we can reduce the amount of cash that's being processed at the campus level, plus putting in processes and procedures for how to handle cash and better banking arrangements, etc. In documenting the organization structure, one of the big issues was who's responsible, who is doing what where. And so throughout this process, we have attempted to align the organization so that everybody understands how what they do impacts the group before and after, and the entire process flow through the mapping process, etc. Again, it's a work in progress. It will remain a work in progress because in any school district, there's going to be movement and changes that are going to result in different people having different areas of responsibility. Next slide, please. Overall, some of the vital accomplishments that we are proud to announce for the district, because they were the ones that worked through this with us. We were able to create that 2027 budget. And we developed budget calendars, and now we have created shells of budget procedures, etc., that are in place for the next budget cycle. Finance and human resource procedures are in place in the areas of grants, in purchasing, in the budget process, in activity funds. They're all procedures that are drafted, but as I mentioned, the technology as it is implemented will impact those procedures, so it will be a constant updating process. We have identified a lot of internal control issues and remediated many of them. And we believe that we have set up, with the advent of AlloView and a number of other procedural changes, more transparency, better reporting, better collaboration between the campuses and the departments. And we're very proud of the work that the district has done in this regard. Next slide, please, which I will now turn over to Joanne.
Thank you, Betty. So what we see as the next steps for BPS leadership is to immediately establish some timelines and priorities for the implementation of all of the in-progress recommendations, and ensure to monitor those regularly and ensure that the board receives regular updates from staff, to adopt and implement well-researched technology options. I want to pause for a moment and say well-researched, but also not analysis paralysis, because you can analyze technology until you're blue in the face, but at some point, someone's got to make the decision. Here's where we cut the discussion and we move forward. Finalize and follow procedures collaboratively drafted by Public Works and the leadership in BPS, and then modify those procedures as time changes. Procedures change. You have to keep, it's not a finished product is what I'm trying to say. You have to keep modifying them to improve them. Also, to train staff to implement procedures to increase efficiency and to reduce those operational risks. Before closing, I wanted to just mention that Public Works contract ended June 30th, but that doesn't mean that our team is not available to answer staff questions. Our team wants BPS to succeed. We want them to successfully complete all 34 recommendations. These issues that led to the recommendation did not manifest overnight. And while we would have loved to say all of them are complete, that is not realistic. It's going to take time, but it has to be constantly moving forward. Not a day goes by when the staff shouldn't be thinking CLA recommendations, and that's really hard to do. We've been administrators in school districts. We understand you've got school to kick off. You have a lot of pressures as staff leadership, but back in that corners of your mind, you still have these recommendations that have to resurface on a regular basis. Next slide, please. I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Avery to share with you what has transpired since our team's contract ended and what action steps for moving forward that his team has in completing all of the 34 recommendations and also using the sustainability plan that we created. And if you could please hold all board questions until after Dr. Avery's presentation, we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Dr. Avery?
Thank you, Dr. Cox. Sam, could you go ahead and put my presentation up, please, if you don't mind? Again, I wanted to kind of, thank Public Works, Joanne, Betty, and Leslie. They've done a marvelous job of getting us to where we are today. Thank you for your assistance, your leadership, and your support that you've given this district. As we, switch over to the state technical assistance team, they're going to take over the work that we're going to continue to do. So I just wanted to extend that thank you to you guys, and I'll take the next slide, Sam. I think one of the things that, as my team and I kind of embrace the 34 recommendations is really looking at the why. And the why for us is, having strong systems make success possible. And as we all know, having disjointed, operations and procedures and things within our district, it affects everything that we do. And again, the ultimate piece here is to provide, resources and services to children, to families, and making sure that we have necessary staff to do that work in order for the community to be proud about their school districts. And so, the recommendations, are really looking at student-centered resources. That's budget, that's staffing, purchasing, HR controls, keeping things, in time and making sure talent is there and making sure the dollars are going into the classrooms. And that's really what the why is all about, making sure that we can touch the kiddos and making sure they're going to, reap the rewards of a very effective system. And again, I think number two is really, making sure that the public is going to trust this school district to utilize the dollars that's given to them. And that means we have to do a lot better job in documentation, having monthly processes and checks, and then really being transparent about it. And I know one of the things the board has really, pushed this leadership team is to really get out there and provide the data to the community, provide additional reports to the board. And I think you're going to see a little bit more of that this upcoming year because we have the necessary resources and we've really looked at exactly how we're going to do this work differently. And again, sustainable operation practices, I'm assigning owners to the issues that have to still be completed. We're going to look at milestones, the things that we need to complete by certain times. There's always going to be barriers, right? And so we have to really knock those barriers down sooner than later, and making sure that the board is part of that. And so it's not all about that one-time response. We have to hold ourselves accountable for doing the work. And on my slides, I put a board takeaway. And again, I want to emphasize that this is not a checklist. Is operating promises that will that each recommendation that leads to stronger controls, faster support, and better outcomes for our students. And that's the number one reason why we're in public school anyway. We got to make sure that kids are reaping their rewards. Next slide, Sam. So one of the things that you're going to see in my presentation is what, the snapshot of the things that we have, have been working on. Again, Joanne and her team talked a little bit about grants management, facility and capital planning, benefit administration, and policy training. Those are, low-hanging fruits of things that we are going to be working on and continue to work on to get done. In the yellow, attention required, budget development, that's the use of AlView and the reporting system, financial reporting that the board is seeking to be able to do more of for, to make sure that they're fiscally responsible for doing the work. HR systems, there's a lot of work around the HR piece, because as the board may know, a few years back, the CFO at the time did a lot of that work from the finance department, and not a lot of it went to the HR department. So we're distributing that back to the HR for them to take ownership of, and then really making sure the technology integration is really working. Again, I think the other leadership intervention is where I come in and where the board will come in is there's a lot of internal controls and things that has to be summed up with purchasing and Munis. There was a lot of functionalities that Munis had, but we never used. So we've unleashed those additional Munis options that we are currently using, as we move forward. The student activity account is a very huge process. It takes a lot of internal work in addition to finding a bank that's going to be able to have all those activity fund accounts all lumped into one bank account to where we can have a better control of those. And then, payroll and position controls, again, another piece that we have to be really, really true on and work well on making it happen. And again, the message for the board is the work is just not to close, findings, but is to make improvements, part of a standard operating procedures that we will do moving forward in this district. And I think that's an important piece for the board to hopefully grab hold of as well. Next slide, Sam. Now, this slide is a very busy slide, but the board will be also receiving this type of update from my team. It's really what we've done over the last 30 days. There's still that 22 audit items that's still in progress that Joanne and her team talked about. And what I've done is broke them down by department, and the budget development and the reporting side of it. So you see all the audit report, number 1, number 6, number 11, and so on. And it has, the green, which also talks about we're on track, but we're maintaining momentum to getting it done. When you look at number 1 is that the board oversight and budget process, the board adopted new policy, the Policy 3000 series around the budget development side of it. Our job is to train and making sure that we follow that policy to the best of our ability to support, the changes that took place in those policies. So you'll see that in every single one of those. If you look at number 14, budget development, that is the LFU implementation, and we're in the process of doing that now and hope to have that done by October. That's all the training. That's we've done a couple of pilot programs with, and working through the implementation side of it. So feel really, really good about how we're and what we're doing. And so you'll see that little highlight in some of the timelines and then the status report on the other side. Next slide, Sam. The second part of that audit recommendation is monitoring, purchasing, and the student activity funds. And so here you see, those audit recommendations and then where we are. You see a couple of reds there, and those are leadership interventions in order to keep the process moving. I'm really directly involved with those particular items, number 15, number 17, number 18, and 24. It just takes a little bit longer to get all those things up and running. And some of those is like number 24, it says track all school activity funds through Munis. That's going to take a whole year to get it done, but that we should be giving you updates on how and what progress we are on that particular one. So again, you'll have this, being presented to the board pretty frequently. And as far as I'm concerned, we're going to have some type of budget audit recommendation every single board meeting that we have throughout the regular year. You'll see that automatically on that. In addition to that, every Wednesday when we have my executive cabinet meeting, but this whole audit process is part of that meeting as well. So we'll have a weekly address of these recommendations to make sure that we're taking care of getting some of these things resolved sooner and later so we can have all of them completed and not just a few of them. Next slide. And the last area is, again, it's the student activity funds, accounting, and HR training. Again, all this is part of the next couple of months. You'll see some of them were already completed. I'm sorry. So some of them are completed, but a lot of them are still in progress. And so hopefully we'll have, most of this done by the end of August, after the teachers and principals can get back to school. Next slide. For the board to understand the process, that I will be, conducting, you'll see on the next slide what I'm talking about. Each one of the groups of still remaining items to be completed will have one owner. That's one person on the cabinet team that is responsible for the work. There'll be milestones to kind of make sure that we're have measurable outcomes of what we need to do by the time that it's going to be completed. We need evidence of that, not just lip service about we got this done. We want to know what those things are. And then if there's any barriers that we need to kind of knock down, we need to knock down that before and not say we can't get it done because of, right? And then that consistent monthly reporting that we're going to be doing to the board with the board, so that you will understand and know where we are as we move through these accomplishments. Next slide, Sam. This is an overview of those assigned executive leadership tasks. The Allenview and budget aspects. Mr. Nakwo will be completing those, and we got the milestones there that we're looking for, the evidence that we're looking for, and then the escalation of triggers that might have a hindrance or making sure that we may have some delays. But again, we wanted to make sure that we're fluent with each item that needs to be completed. The munis purchasing piece, Nestor and the business office are in charge of those. School activity funds, Nestor in the business office. HR and payroll controls, I will be supporting HR in those HR and payroll controls that need to be summed up. And then technology integration, PJ and Jeff will be working to try to make sure that those integrations with Munis, Power School, and Allenview are all in the process, and there's no missing barriers, there's no missing opportunities to make it all work around. And again, the board takeaway, each update will show ownership, measurable next steps, documented evidence, and early escalation when support is needed. So that is the process that we're going to be using to really get through this. And I think it's a well thought out plan of action in order for the board to be able to hold us accountable for our actions and what we're doing to meet these 34 recommendations. Next slide. Next slide, Sam.
Yeah, that's it.
There's one more.
Oh, okay.
There it goes. It talks about the next steps, taking the work across the line. So like I said earlier, we'll be working with the state technical assistance team. Dave, and Ed will be assisting us in finalizing, formalizing this process. So again, one of the things we'll do is finalize and distribute core procedural manuals and training materials. That's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We're going to complete Allenview in the Munis readiness testing and approval path and user training. We're going to move activity funds towards Munis tracking and parental portal selections and control of P-card rollout. We're going to strengthen the HR onboarding and position controls, payroll and benefit reconciliations and controls. and then provide, that monthly update to the board. And these are the things that we are very excited about. We're well equipped and ready to make these things come to life. And again, bringing this whole audit, across the finish line, and that's the game plan for us. And so at this time, Ms. Perez, we will turn it back to the board for any questions that you guys may have of either Public Works or myself.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Cox, Ms. Russell, and Ms. Kathy. Are there any questions from the board members? If you do, please raise your hand. Mr. Sakalovic.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Couple of questions. Just the P cards. What kind of accountability is attached to them? I might have missed it because I've been driving around. We've been hearing a lot in the news lately about people abusing the P cards. What's the internal control process that we can avoid that situation?
I could answer that, Dr. Avery, if you want.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go ahead.
Mr. Nicole.
Go ahead. Good evening, everyone. Nestor Nicor. Relative to the P card, we're exploring with M&T Bank and Bank of America. They have controls. Individuals, they're gonna have to be using the P card, but it's all gonna be channeled through electronic system whereby the principal has to approve the purchase to begin with, attach an invoice along with it. It has to be reviewed at the business office before it gets paid. So it's not like anyone is going to go out there and shop and buy whatever they want. Absolutely not. So whoever is going to enter it is going to enter it in the system. It's going to electronically workflow to the principal to review what the designated employee is purchasing. Again, the principal is not giving everyone access to the P card or to the platform. Actually, is a platform to enter or purchase something. The principal has to choose one employee who is the program manager for that activity fund. That employee is going to enter it. Electronically, you can tell who made the entry in the system. And you have to have access to that system as an employee. Then it will workflow to the principal, who is going to review what is being purchased. They will approve it, but at the initial stage, the employee is going to upload the receipt of what they're purchasing and the purpose, why. Now we're going to set parameters. If we want, we can set parameters. You can only buy for ice cream club. You can only buy ice cream. That's all you can buy by product line. You cannot go buy pizza for we set the parameters to begin with. So everything is very well controlled and monitored. The business office can upload everything, not even upload. They can click any day, anytime, any point, and see what's in transit. Whether it's been approved or if it reached the principal or not, we can see what is in transit before it even routes to the principal. Full control. Then when everything is reviewed and approved by the business office, it gets uploaded and the requisition and everything and the receipt will get attached to Munis for record purpose.
Right. Okay. My next question involves once this is all said and done, how much of this public information is going to be available? That to what granular level would the public be able to see?
If the public wants, again, the principal can print the transaction report, the transaction receipt. If the board members want all transactions that took place in a particular activity fund, we can download it in Munis with daily receipt, when the purchase was made, the vendor that the purchase was made out of, and how much each transaction cost.
All right. So if there's any to do random spot checks, I mean, I'm not talking about micromanagement. I'm just talking about if there's some feelings of malfeasance somewhere or something like that, we could look at a sample size in a certain area. And what's going to be
We
on the
kind
front?
of covered that, sir, with our procedures with the staff, and I think Betty, if she puts herself off mute, can give you just a real short explanation that will hopefully answer your question.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm driving around, so.
First of all, let me tell you that the activity funds, as the CLA audit found them, were being maintained at the campus level with limited documentation, and the business office was simply checking their bank statements against what they said they purchased. But when I said cash handling was a problem, not all the money was being recorded in that way. What we have done, and what I think Nestor is trying to describe to you, is we have worked very diligently with the business office and with campus principals, etc., to identify the gaps. The procurement card is actually a stopgap in this whole cash going wherever it goes. And we will actually, what your district will have is detailed records with invoices, which you do not have now. Right now, the only invoices that are retained is if the purchase is over $1,000. Is that correct, Joanne? Mister,
Right, that
go
pretty
ahead.
much
That-
answers my.
That is correct,
Yeah,
but that is correct. But every transaction, even if it's $1.50, it's all going to be. They will all be recorded in the bank transaction. It's like a credit card, actually, but it's not. Yeah, it's more like fully detailed with backup. With if you don't upload the receipt, we can set it in such a way. If you don't upload the receipt, the transaction will not go through. Complete. It will not completely go through.
Yeah, I was more interested. It wasn't particular to the P cards and all that, but that's a good answer. But I'm just wondering also, like right now when we go online, the public could go use the drop down menus and find the finance report, the quarterly finance reports, and all the information in there. That's going to be all integrated in there. The public's going to be able to see that and drop down. It's going to be the same, somewhat similar kind of line drop downs.
Yes. Yes, you will see it. And in addition, for more clarity, we are going to be just basically what Betty was saying, in line with what Betty was trying to describe. All cash receipts, no more cash receipts anyway. All receipts will not be cash. It's going to be all electronic, kind of. You zap your swipe card, and it acknowledges the receipt, and it gets charged electronically. So we will limit cash, literally zero tolerance on cash.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. That's
As far
all
as
I have.
cash, as far as receiving
Do we
money
have any other questions?
from parents, yeah.
Mr. Traber?
Yeah,
on
I
mute.
just want, no, I unmuted. I just know that
Here
you
you
will
go.
tell
Go
me
ahead.
cause a feedback buzz if I don't. So anyway, I just wanted to know if we're gonna be provided this documentation, this presentation. Because a lot of it was very hard to read.
It's in our portal.
That doesn't make it provided, so I wanna, okay, I'll arrange with Danielle.
Do you need a
Thank you.
printout? Are you asking for a printout?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, we can get that for you.
thank you.
All right. I'll see no other questions. Thank you for Public Works for what you've done this past year would help us. And that'll be it. So we'll
Thank you,
go
ladies.
on.
Thank you very much.
next
As I
item.
said, we look forward to
Oh.
hearing your successes, and we're a phone call or email away if you have some questions.
Awesome. Will do.
Alright.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The next item on our agenda is approval of the qualified purchase for Blackham basketball court replacement. I think Ms. McCarville, you're on for this.
Yes,
Okay. Hi,
good
Katie.
evening. This is for the replacement of the basketball court that is in disrepair. It's an asphalt court at Blackham School. We had some additional capital funds that were available what we did was we went out to different contractors for quotes. The quotes came in over the $25,000 threshold, so we requested approval for a qualified purchase for the lowest quote, which came in at $35,600, since time is of the essence to get this completed for the opening of school.
Mr. Traber?
Yes, this is for the two courts on the middle school side.
I believe they're near the baseball fields and in between the baseball fields and the school and towards the
on
back.
On Breton Street.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. This is the only recreational spot for the middle school side of the building. So I
Correct.
support this.
Mr. Medina?
Yes, I kind of like in line with Mr. Traver. I just want to make sure there's two courts there, correct? Just want to make sure that we are all in line.
Yes.
Ms. J.
Yes.
Okay,
The
just
entire
want to make sure you said
surfacing, and
courts, and I
they'll
just want to make
reline
sure.
the courts.
Yep. Thank you. And I thought I saw
Yes.
documentation that said something about a different. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Jen.
Go ahead, you can finish. I thought you were done.
No. I'm not. I thought I saw you gave a different number, Miss Nate Carvel. You gave a
So-
different number. I thought I saw something here that said something about 40,000, and now you gave a different number. So where are we with the documents to make sure that everything coincides with the quote and the contract?
So the quote came in at $35,600, the lowest quote. When we ask for an approval, I usually round up and ask for a little more in case when they're in the field, they find something unknown and we have a change note. So I don't delay the project and go back to the CAO of the city to request the change note if I ask for a little bit more money. I don't open a purchase order for the 40,000. It's just there as a safe place for approval. So it's approved at 40,000, but that doesn't mean we'll be spending 40,000. The qualified purchase is approved for 40,000.
So, Mr. Medina, to that point, we want to keep a bit of a contingency. There may be some unforeseens, and we just want to ensure that, we're able to execute this in the time frame that we have. But carrying a small contingency on these projects is prudent.
That was going to be my follow-up question. Is this normal protocol? Because this is the very first time in my 2.5+ years that I asked this type of question and I got that type of answer, which I understand. I have to work with a lot of contractors and everything, but this is the very first time that was used as an answer. But I understand. I not against it. Just want to make sure we knew, because numbers matter. Two things don't match. I got to ask. So thank you very much. Thank you,
Ms.
Madam Chair.
Jimenez.
Yeah, I always ask this question on all these projects. Have these gone through like the procurement? And I believe I saw Compan, so I just wanted to verify that you guys have gone through, the proper procurement channels to get this quote.
So in order to get a qualified purchase approved, you have to go through the business office. Well, I do. I go through the business office. Then that moves on to the purchasing department, where both our buyer and the purchasing agent have to approve it. And then from there, a qualified purchase goes to the CAO, Mr. Gaudet, for his approval. And then it goes on to city attorney to draft the contract. So yes, it's gone through all of those procedures. And then city attorney and Dr. Avery will not sign the contract until you as the board approves it.
Excellent, thank you. And I just wanted to provide a quick opinion on the contingency. It makes absolute sense to add a contingency because when you're out there, the fences might be messed up around the court and they might need to be replaced. So it makes total sense. And from like a professional perspective, I usually add contingencies to my projects as well. So thank you.
All right, is there a motion? Oh, I see another hand. Mr. Medina, do you still have another question, or was that still the same hand?
No, I did raise my hand again. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And then I'll be more than happy to make a motion. But I just want to confirm with everybody, this is not a grant funded. This is not operation, correct?
Correct, it's capital funds.
Okay, thank you. And let me go back to my list. If nobody else have any other questions, I'll make a motion to approve the qualified purchase for the Blackham School basketball court replacement as discussed and shown to the board.
Second, Mr.
Second.
Benahan.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Benham seconds. Say all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Madam
Aye.
Medina.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes. Are you doing the Clader project too?
Yes.
All right, so the next one is the cooperative purchase for the Clader School playground resurfacing repairs.
So this cooperative purchase is through Compan, which we've been using for most of our playgrounds throughout the last few years. Actually, I've brought a few contracts to the board for approval. This is for Clader School, both playgrounds. The surfacing has been ripped up or has been damaged over the years. It is over, let's see, Clader's 10, 15 years old, the surfacing there. So this is to repair and resurface both playgrounds. It's at $198,047.57. The surfacing material is very pricey, as you have seen with other projects that we've done. And unfortunately, when these playgrounds were installed, they were installed on top of, I believe, either concrete or asphalt. So there's not a fall zone there for us to put play fiber that you might see similar to mulch, but it's play fiber. We can't do that at this school because we did look at that option to save some money. This is also funded with capital funds.
Any questions? And if I don't have any questions, if so, I would like to make a motion.
Madam Chair, make it a motion to approve the cooperative purchase for the Clader School playground resurfacing / repairs.
Second, Mr.
Second.
Benahan.
All right, second by Mr. Benahan. Any further debate? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye, Medina Willie.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes. Thank you, Ms. McCarville.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Next up, I think, Mr. Medina,
yes, I move to adjourn.
we have we have more items on the agenda.
Oh, you do? I thought, the only thing I see is 6 items. I apologize.
Next item
What's
on the
the other-
agenda is approval of the Department of Administrative Services Office of School Construction Grants and Review Request for Review of Final Plans, Forms SCG-042. I think Mr. Chillen, you're on for this.
Yes, this
Hi, Larry.
is to get approval to go to the state to get permission to go to bid for phase 2 of the Winthrop project, which is the construction and installation of the playscape for the project. You've previously approved phase 1, which is the abatement and demolition, which is under works right now. We're looking at finishing that in November, and we would like to start construction in December. So this is part of the normal process with capital projects through the state.
Thank you. Questions for Mr. Chillen? Ms. Estremera Jimenez?
I have a general question. It's about the size and the student count, and it's really to mitigate the situation from where there's not enough space in the school, have we properly calculated and forecasted the student count just to make sure that we're properly building the school to the proper size?
We hired a consultant, which we have to do as part of the grant application process. And they take a look at all the demographics with the steady population, birth rates, etc. And we take an 8-year look and we use the population that's the highest.
Excellent, thank you.
I see no other oh, Mr. Draper?
Yeah, how did that compare to the study we did a few years ago? George?
I believe those numbers are in line with the study. So one of the things we did do was look at the population of both schools individually, and they sort of fall in line even with the 8-year projection. So we're confident in the number that they're going to be building to in the site.
Is there a motion?
No, Madam Hand, but his hand is still up.
You, okay, just saw your hand just now, so you can go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What is that number, George, that you guys were referring to, please?
Larry, it's 685.
Yes,
685. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, seeing no other hands, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the Department of Administrative Services Office of School Construction Grants Final Plan Form SCG 042.
Second, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, Larry, I'll get that signed over to Michelle by tomorrow.
we appreciate it. You're very
Alrighty.
quick at it. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
Next we have the approval of qualified purchase, single source for Fairchild Wheeler HVAC coil replacement. Is this Jamie again? Oh, you
Yes.
should have put in order for you, sorry.
That's okay. We've brought a very similar contract to you before. There are several hundred coils at Fairchild Wheeler School that need to be replaced. So as capital funds become available and we can get on the contractor's schedule, whether it be when school is closed or during a holiday, to replace some more coils, we request a qualified purchase, since this is the contractor who's been doing it for the last few years and will complete it over the next few years. And it's $94,500 and it's capital funds.
See any hands?
Madam Chair, I move. Madam Chair, I move for the qualified purchase of the single source of the Fairchild Wheeler HVAC coil replacement.
Second.
Jimenez. Any questions for the debate? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye, Willie Medina.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, and I believe that's it for you, Jamie.
Yes, thank you.
Have a good night. Have a good night,
You
Mr.
too.
Garcia.
Thank you,
All
Jamie.
right, the
Thank you,
next
George.
item on the agenda is approval of the University School modified proposal for a special education program expulsion program. I believe we have Mr. Steves or Steves?
Hi, it's
Or
Estevez.
are you? Oh, Estevez. Okay, then Dr. Weaver, are you presenting on this?
Yeah, I'll take the lead on that. Board,
Okay.
as you know, board, as you know, John and Steve was the owner of the university school and a DRN school. But the university school is what's coming up for a consideration tonight. One of the things that I've worked with John, his son, Junior, in order to reduce the cost of due to the fact that we've been looking at how we're going to curb the cost of the university school and DRN, it's always been a somewhat of a contingent, contract. But this is a contract that is needed for the district in order for us to provide services to high needs children across the district. And I can tell you over the last year, I think the contract was a little bit over, I think, $2 million for this portion of the contract. But working with John Estes Jr., we went back, with the help of the state technical assistance team to really review the contract from last year. And I'm pleased to say that, this year's contract is less, or the district will see a savings of about $800,000. Although we budgeted for the full amount, but in Mr. Steve's looking at making sure that he wasn't going to jeopardize the extent of the services that they provided the district, but he came back with an opportunity for us to save about $800,000. And so the contract, you should have had those in the board portal for your consideration. And at this point, I will open it up, and Mr. Steve is available to answer any questions that the board may have.
Mr. Medina?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move in approval for the University School modified proposal for the special education program and expulsion program.
Second, Mr. Benahan.
Second, Mr. Traber?
Yeah, this isn't the full contract. Am I correct?
Right. The DR, there were always separate contracts, but we normally did them both at the same board meeting. But due to the fact that Mr. Steve's daughter just had a baby on Tuesday, we were not able to get that contract to the board before we posted the agenda item on Friday or Thursday when we posted it. So what we're doing is we're meeting with her on, I think, Wednesday. I think I have a meeting with her to bring that contract, and we'll bring that to the next appointed board meeting.
Okay, so what?
Do you have any
when
other
you say
questions,
last-
Mr. Traber? Okay.
Yes, I do. I'm trying to ask,
ahead.
last year, when you said 2 million, that was for the expulsion?
Hey, Nestor, do you have that number in front of you? I know you're.
I don't have it in front of me. So.
I
So
don't.
the
I don't have
800
that. Go ahead, sir.
The 800,000 that we're saving is from both of them or one of them?
Just the one. Just the one. Now, if you look at in the board portal, there's two agreements.
I don't have that. I have the screen in front of me, so that's why I can't see it in front of me. Looking at
Okay.
you.
Okay, gotcha. Well, yeah.
If he wants to tell me what those numbers say, that's fine, but I don't have it in front of me.
And I don't have it in
So-
front. I don't have it in front of me either. So I mean, I don't. Could someone look? If you have it in front of you, you can pull out what that is. I don't have it. I'm at home doing this meeting, so I don't have my desktop.
Through the
computer,
chair, if you
so-
guys would give us the name of the title of the document, because it's very hard to establish with all these abbreviations. What is the name of the document in our portal?
It's
I
on
think Danielle
board
might
book.
be on.
It's on.
I have it up. What page?
It's on board book. It's the US.
Thank you, Mr. Tremera. I'm not on board
Say it
work. I'm
again?
in my present.
Hey, Danielle, could you assist with that request?
Miss Esther Mara Jimenez. has
It's
it.
Mera.
So,
I have it up. I'm struggling to find the dollar amount.
You're asking the original, you're asking for the original.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if that's up here. I don't know. What we have on board book is the 2026 and the proposal for modifications. Okay, so special education program, 30 reserve placements for a total annual cost of $1.95 million. Combined annual cost is 2.250. The expulsion program is also cost $300,000. So a combination of the 19.5 for special education and the expulsion program equate to that 2.25 figure. A
And that was last year.
33% reduction in the expulsion program from 30 students to 20 students with associated cost savings of $150,000. So all of that combined $800,000 savings. Oh, I missed a bullet. There's also a 25% reduction in the special education program from 40 students to 30 students. And that's where the core of the savings is coming from, with totaling up to $650,000.
hold on one sec. I'm sorry, 40 to what?
40 to
30.
30.
Okay, so basically the expulsion is dropping a third. So it's going from 200,000, 300,000 to 200,000.
Say that again,
If I'm-
Mr. Draper?
If I heard you correctly, and I can be corrected, I don't mind. But you said that the program last year was 2.25 million.
No,
And the
yes.
2.25 million was 300,000 for expulsion.
Yep.
30 expulsion seats. And 1.95 for special ed. And the
So-
reduction this year is 40 special ed seats are being reduced to 30. And 30 expulsion seats are being reduced to 20. So the 30 expulsion seats, 300,000, are being reduced to 20, would be 200,000. So this contract we're voting on tonight would be 200,000. So forgetting the 800,000 and the 2 million, what we're voting on is a contract tonight for 200,000.
Mr. Steve, can we get Mr. Steve back online to?
Yes,
Sure.
I can
You
go
can.
over the numbers. So currently, the expulsion program would be 20 students at a rate of 15,000, which would equal 300,000. And the special education main program would be 30 students at the rate of 65,000 for a total cost of 1,950. The total cost would be 2,250,000 with both programs combined. Those numbers represent the total after the savings of the $800,000 from our prior full capacity contract, which we had last year, which was 40 and 30.
So the contract, Mr. Esteves, that we're voting on today is for 300,000?
No.
For the expulsion program, yes. The original programs were 40 and 30. They are now 30 and 20.
Hey, John, what was the original proposal without the discount? What was the total amount that?
One moment. 3,050,000.
Any other questions, Mr. Draper?
Yeah. I have a question and a comment. So we're voting on tonight, we're being asked to vote on the contract is for 300,000, Mr. Estevez?
The special education portion and the expulsion program, the
No,
total
no,
is,
expulsion.
the expulsion program is 300,000.
Okay, so that's what we're being asked to vote on tonight, is the university school expulsion program for 300,000. Am I correct?
There are two portions to
Dr.
our
Avery, can you answer that
contract.
question?
Yes, it's you have a special ed program with University School and an expulsion program with University School. There's two different ones. Then you have a third program with DRN that's not part of this.
They're also
proposal.
legally separate entities. We're not the same company, just to clarify that. My father was the owner of University School and he sat as the director of Disability Resource Network. This contract pertains solely to University School.
University.
Okay, so we're voting on the contract for university school tonight for 2.25 million,
Correct.
Correct.
which is 800,000 less than 3.050 last year.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so now I understand the gist. Now the comment is that for the last 3 years, we have done this at or about the end of June, beginning of July. This year, it's the end of July. This is ridiculously late to have this discussion. So I want to just make that comment. This is a discussion we should be having a month or two before the end of the fiscal year. I remember when it started, when Dr. Levy David arrived, it got let go by the interim superintendent at the time and became a source of contention for her, with her. And then it seems like it's just every year we don't get to this in a timely manner. We don't look at this problem in a timely manner. We don't deal with this problem in a timely manner. And now we're sort of sitting here saying, well, exactly how does this work? Why is it so late? Why are we dealing with this so late? So I make that editorial remark because I find this a bit frustrating. That's all, Madam Chair.
Mr. Medina?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm having a problem because I like having my documents in front of me, but I'm having a problem understanding using the term a discount when I'm not being shown where the discount is. Because so far the information that we've been presented in the presentation is that there is an $800 savings, but nevertheless, we are being, it goes from 40 and 30, we're dropping the services to 30 and 20. So is the savings coming from a savings discount, or is it because we dropped the number of services that we are asking from this contract?
Madam Chair, may I explain? One of the things that with previous year's contracts, it was required of the district to have a certain number of seats that we had to pay for, regardless if we used them or not. In the last couple of years, we had reached the full capacity of that number. And so what I did is went back to, the university school partnership and said, hey, why do we have to, pay for so many seats that we don't even use? And so when talking to John about, the financial need of this district, I said, we're going to have to do something different. And so I'm requesting that we stay closer to the number that we assigned to that school. And we've been very, we have new processes and procedures of how we assign kids as well. And so we're gonna stay closer to or below that number to where we don't have to be able to expend upon that extra $800,000. So that's the rationale that I took in getting it down at least, $800,000, Mr. Medina. If that
Okay,
helped a little
well,
bit.
no, well explained, but when I hear only savings in the beginning, and if we didn't make inquiry a little bit into the fact is that, and I'm glad that you guys listen, when we get into a contract, we enter it with them, and I was there. I know the late president of the organization as far as staying. I knew him personally also, but and we miss him dearly, and we thank that they're working with us. But yeah, the contract was what it is, and you decided to lower it because we want to meet the standards and all that stuff, and they're willing to do that because they don't want to service us outside of our needs or below our needs. So we want to make sure that we do that. So I appreciate it. But in the beginning, I thought it was just a saving. So I appreciate this discussion, this dialogue, but that's why I asked that question, because the savings is coming from us lowering it and them keeping a contract that is great for the thing. And I thank you, sir, Steve, for honoring your dad and continuing this work. And this work meant so much to him to continue to give back to this community, which he loves so much. So I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to continue his legacy and work with the board.
Blessings.
Miss-
Thank you.
Mr. Nicole, did you have something? Because we can make a motion now.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Again, it's just for clarification, I know it's been a little while. If the board remembers, the current year adopted budget that the board adopted has a $7 million worth of assumptions in it, meaning things that the administration actions the administration have to take in order to achieve those savings. So this is one of those options or one of the things or items that make up that $7 million. So we're chipping at it gradually as we go along. So this is a planned savings, factored savings already into the budget, just to be clear. Amongst the special education
Thank
savings
you.
that was factored in the budget, yes. So I just don't want
Thank you.
people
Is
to
there
think,
a,
I just don't want people to think that we just found money that we can spend. Okay.
thank you. Is there a motion?
I think the motion's
Motion to
already been made.
approve. Oh,
Has it
yeah,
been-
it has.
it
Yep.
has been
Willie
made
Oh,
already.
made
yes.
it and
Yes, it was.
seconded.
Mr. Medina made
That's
a motion.
correct.
It was
Thank you.
me, I was second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, Willie
Any
Medina.
opposed? Any abstentions? That passes. Thank you, Mr. Estevez. The next
Thank
one is the
you.
approval of this effective school solutions proposal. Dr. Avery?
Yeah, I'll take the lead on that as well. For the board to know, last year we went into an agreement with Effective School Solutions for about $1.3 million, I think it was last year.
1.3, yeah.
We have reduced their contract as well. Although there's services that we're not going to be utilizing across the board due to the fact that they were part of the budget reduction options that we took a few months back. But we felt the need to continue the services with them. They are going to be working specifically with BLC. And they will have a clinician at BLC, but they also are going to be working through their trauma-informed disciplinary system that we are going to continue to utilize. And Marge, I think that price was for I think it's 100 and I'm not sure exactly what that of the request is tonight. Do you have that in front of you, Marge? You're on mute.
You got mute, Miss Hughes.
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
The contract for Effective School Solution. I think
It's
Dwayne is
1.3
also.
million. It was 1.3 last year.
The current, he's talking about the current one.
It's 105.
Yes. 105, right.
Yeah.
And I think, Dwayne, could you kind of talk a little bit about, the grant that you guys have given the district as well, and what we're going to be using that grant for. And I think they will be happily and pleasantly surprised that we have a strong partnership. They've worked for the district for several years now. I want to make sure that we continue the partnership and having discussions about how they could interact with us moving forward as well. So, Dwayne, can you kind of talk a little bit about what that is as well?
Sure. So just so everyone knows, Effective School Solutions, we work with your high acuity students, externalizers and internalizers when you think about behaviors. The whole goal is to help them to be a part of a least restrictive environment in the buildings in Bridgeport. And specifically in this conversation, we're talking about BLC. To Dr. Avery's question for me, so we are actually providing a $200,000 state grant in partnership with with Bridgeport Public Schools. Sorry about that. Leaving 105 as the amount that Bridgeport would be contributing so that we can have clinical support in the buildings to make sure that we're spending time with your highest acuity students and cohorts, working with them and working with their families to make sure that they can go through the process of resets, be involved in group and get individual therapy inside of the school to help their academic success and their life success happen in Bridgeport Public Schools rather than being sent out of district, because many of these students are sent out of district for out of district placement, which takes them out of the community, but it also takes them away from all of the learning and community that you want them to receive in the public school setting and not in out of district placement. In coupling that, we have a culture and climate professional development attuned model where we've been working in BLC to help to shift the behavioral strategies from Boys Town into a strategy that is more productive and supportive of the children and the families in the building. And that's one of the parts of work that will be coupled with the clinician to make sure that we're moving that change that Superintendent Avery has asked us to do in partnership, again, with Bridgeport Public Schools. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the Effective School Solutions proposal.
Second, Mr. Benahan.
Any further questions or debate on that? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? When you're voting, just come off the mic, so come on the mic so we're ready, but I think the ayes have it. I saw Mr. Benahan mouth it.
Hi, Willie Medina, sorry.
Any abstentions? There you go. Got it all now. Thank you, presenters.
Thanks, Dwayne.
Mr.
Thank
Miller.
you.
Thank you, Mr. Midler.
Thank you.
Have a great one. Bye.
Now we have the approval of the Teach for America agreement. So Dr. Avery?
Yeah, I'll take that one in. Again, thank you, Madam Chair. We are very pleased to kind of bring back Teach for America to the district. Teach for America has been part of, in and out of the district over the last couple of years, but Teach for America took a year off last year to revamp their program. We are currently with about, I think, 6 or 7 applicants, from Teach for America. The cost of that is about $8,000 per applicant. And I have Teach for America, I think Ms. Sarah is online, and she can give you a little short overview again of what they've done with Connecticut and Connecticut school districts and the efforts that they've tried to make sure that those applicants are from Connecticut and that can house and be implemented in our schools. And so I'll give her the floor and let her give you her quick overview.
Thank you so much, Dr. Avery. Good evening, everyone. Board Chair Perez and members of the board, thank you for your time. I will be brief, but also want to name I'm happy to stay and answer as many questions as you have and engage in dialogue about what is best for the students of Bridgeport Public Schools. Again, my name is Sarah Diggs, and I serve as the Senior Managing Director of Strategy and Impact for Teach for America Connecticut. I am a Connecticut native myself. I did Teach for America back in 2004. and have spent the last 22 years working in urban contexts in education in Connecticut. And I've been on TFA staff now for about 2 years, but previously have served as a teacher, an educator, a principal, and a district level leader in New Haven and Hartford. And I'm really excited to get to learn the Bridgeport community a bit more and engage in this work together. A little bit of overview about Teach for America. Teach for America is a leadership development organization. We recruit, select, and develop aspiring educators. We call them core members that commit to teaching for 2 years in our partner districts, fostering in them a lifelong commitment to careers in education and mission-aligned work. As Dr. Avery noted, Teach for America did pause a core in Connecticut a couple of years ago. That pause was very intentional to really re-envision and reimagine what the makeup of our core should be and how we can focus more deeply on both impact and specifically through recruiting local individuals to serve as Teach for America core members. We recognize that when people are working and committed to the communities in which they're from, and they have a connection, that they will stay, and that they will stay both during their 2-year commitment with TFA, but also beyond their 2-year commitment. And so that's what we've been really working to achieve. I will share a little bit about our core since we did bring a teaching core back in 2024. In 2024, we had 16 core members. I am very proud to share that all 16 of them who started with TFA in the fall of 2024 successfully completed their 2 years of teaching in their placement schools with TFA. In 2025, our core was 23, and they are entering into their 2nd year in just a couple of weeks. We currently partner with New Haven Public Schools as well as Hartford Public Schools. And then we also partner with a handful of charter organizations throughout the state, including Achievement First, Capital Prep, Elevate, and Great Oaks. In Bridgeport, historically, and our data, to be very transparent, is a little bit trickier to dive into pre-2010. So the data that I'm talking about now is between 2010 and 2021, when we paused a core, as I mentioned. But in that period of time, we placed 179 core members in Bridgeport Public Schools, averaging between 6 and 30 teachers per year. 86% of those individuals completed their 2-year commitment, representing an overall retention rate of 86%. We have employment data for about 75% of those individuals, and I can share that about 60% of them continue to work in education, about 40% specifically in pre-K through 12 schools, and currently 23 teachers, 1 assistant principal, and 1 district level staff person in Bridgeport Public Schools are Teach for America alums. There are currently 34 TFA alums living in the Bridgeport city of Bridgeport specifically, and 74% of those folks currently work in education. All right, couple of key pieces of information about our incoming core. So our 2026 core, as we mentioned, we're really focused on local recruitment and ensuring that our incoming core represents the students in which they will be privileged enough to be working with. So our 2026 incoming core includes 39 core members. So you'll notice that we are making incremental yet really strategic growth year over year. 56% of them identify as people of color, 54% are from Connecticut, 41% graduated from a Connecticut university, 62% identify as coming from a low-income background, 44% are first-gen college students, 2 specifically live in or are from Bridgeport. About a quarter of them will teach a STEM subject, and about a quarter of them will teach special education. I'm going to briefly talk about how we develop core members. First and foremost, we do so in partnership with schools and districts. So we work closely with our placement partners to complement and extend the leadership, coaching, and professional learning that core members receive at the school level, ensuring that we have aligned wraparound support to help them thrive in classrooms. We put student success at the center, equipping core members with high quality training and resources to support students' social, emotional, and academic development. Our coaching areas for teacher leadership development focus on 4 things: creating supportive and welcoming learning environments, strengthening rigorous instruction, building self-awareness and commitment to continuous learning, and strengthening social awareness and relationship skills. We employ what we call an ecosystem of support to support and develop core members, both through pre-service and over their 2-year commitment. That includes personalized and consistent training, experienced coaching from a dedicated TFA leadership coach, instructional resources, and whole person support, including wellness and mental health supports, which we recognize are incredibly important for teachers. And then lastly, I'll share a little bit about selection and hiring. So TFA core members are eligible for a durational shortage area permit if they do not come to Teach for America already with Connecticut teacher certification. Some of them do. All core members enroll in a certification program with one of our 3 certification program partners: Central Connecticut State University, Relay Graduate School of Education, or Western Governors University. And to ensure that Bridgeport Public Schools and our other partners do not run into any hiccups or bumps along the way with DSEP applications, we ensure that all core members have the credits that they need in their content area and or that they take and pass praxis before entering your buildings. Bridgeport Public Schools would hire core members following your standard selection and hiring process in collaboration with us. And as Dr. Avery mentioned, the current fee per core member per year is $8,000, and that is intended to support Teach for America's costs to recruit, select, train, and support core members throughout their 2-year commitment. We're really, really excited and honored to be able to engaging in a conversation about reestablishing partnership with Bridgeport Public Schools, and I'm very open to your questions and things that are on your mind.
Any hands? There we go, Mr. Traber.
I see it. I was gonna say, yeah, I see a hand.
Yeah, Dr. Avery, are we providing mentoring too?
Yes, because there are new members to the district, new to working, we have a new member mentorship that we're going to be making sure that we wrap our hands around that support, because I think that's needed. And so we'll be working in partnership with Teach for America and our HR department. Mike Brosnan is the one who kind of spearheads that for us. And so he'll be making that contact with them as well. And I think Marge is going to be doing some things with new teachers as well as part of that whole new teacher training and making sure we connect them with mentors as well, though. Great question.
So our new teacher training, they'll participate in?
Yes, they're going to be just like a brand new hire, regardless of their being from Teach for America or not. They're going to be all into our depth, learning our process, procedures, and how we do our business in the district. Yes, sir.
Okay, because, sorry, Ms. Diggs, when Teach for America was here before, I think I was vice president and president of the union. And we used to meet with them down at some pizza joint in Black Rock. And the principal who you refer to, I think she's a head principal, not an assistant principal. Right?
Now she's a head principal. Yes.
Our data could be a little bit outdated. We'll make sure she updates her record because we want to have that accurate.
She's a head principal in Bridgeport. She was a teacher at my school. And, she and I spent hours debating, but she has stayed the course in Bridgeport and performed incredible things.
Well.
Is a great educator in Bridgeport. And my hats off has always been to her because she stayed, which has always been my criticism is they don't stay. And so whatever we could do to get them to stay is really important. And so that's really the key for me. So I just want to make sure that You mentioned relay, for instance, and we had our fights about relay here in the last few years. We want to make sure that we're training them, helping with the training of them to make sure that we are hopefully helping convince them that it's a worthwhile thing to stay beyond the 2 years.
Correct.
So.
Well, we could not agree with you more. Like, seriously, I say that genuinely. I always use myself as an example. I'm from Connecticut and I did Teach for America in Philadelphia. And I did exactly what you're talking about. I did my 2 years and I said, thank you, Philadelphia. And what did I do? I came home to Connecticut. And so, and I have been, like I shared, been working in education, but that's not the story that Philadelphia knows, right? They know that this person who's not from our community came into our context and was here for 2 years and then left. And so our focus on local recruitment is to do exactly what you're talking about and really support people who are from here to stay here, and folks who are not from here too, to help them to establish connection. So anytime you want to meet up at a pizza joint in Black Rock and talk to some core members about the amazing city of Bridgeport and why they should stay, we'd love to take you up on that, because that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Anytime. This is not the time, but the program was designed to have people spend 2 years and then stay in the community as professional leaders but that's a longer discussion.
Sure.
Right now, I don't think I don't have a problem with us bringing Teach for America back in. And so, you and I can discuss the structural problems in education at a later point. So
I welcome the conversation.
I just want to see them brought into our training because I want to see them encouraged to remain educators.
Yes.
Us too. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there a motion to approve the Teach for America agreement?
Motion to approve the Teach for America agreement.
Second.
Thank you.
Mr. Bennett.
All right, second, I got Ms. Traber first, but any further debate on that? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, Willie Medina.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you, Ms. Diggs. It passes.
Thank you so much,
you, ma'am.
everyone. Have a great evening.
Yeah.
Take care. Next, we have the approval of the TransFinder Wayfinder proposal.
Yeah, I'll let PJ take this one. He's gonna give the board an overview of the TransFinder, what it is, and what we're looking to do with it as well. So go ahead, PJ. You're on mute.
He's not on mute. I don't know.
You're not on,
We
man.
don't hear you though.
We see your lips moving, PJ. We just don't hear you.
I think he'll call in, I think. We'll give him a second to call in.
Okay, I hope everyone can hear me now.
We hear you now.
Perfect.
We're
perfect.
good.
Sorry about that. I don't know technology, let me tell you. All right, so really quick, let me get you into this product. So this is a product that we've been looking at for some time now. Since we've gotten the transportation back in our office, one of the main issues was that we were looking to be able to identify ridership. Ridership being students who actually get on the bus each day. Right now, with this Wayfinder product, what it's going to do for us, it's going to allow us to be able to, in a sense, take attendance on children who are getting on the bus. Now, that attendance that we're taking for children is going to be able to give us a better depiction of how many buses we really do need. Right now, what we do is based on the bus stop and where we're at, we make assumptions each day on how many kids get on the bus. We get a lot of phone calls that say, you know, we have 4 or 5 kids we see on the bus. We're not sure if that 4 or 5 was at the end of the run, the beginning of the run, or the middle of the run. Also, I know on half days, when you look at half days, we're told more children take the bus because parents at that point are not are not picking up children. They're telling them to get on the bus and then come home. So some of this software, whether it's true or not, some of what this software is going to do is allow us 3 aspects. 1 is safety, 2 is ridership, and 3 is Medicaid for those students who are Medicaid reimbursable. We could actually collect money for these kids, these children who do take the bus based on this product. This product allows us to talk to parents. It allows us to talk to schools, to let them know we're going to be 10 minutes late. The bus is in traffic. Be aware the children weren't picked up on time. It will allow parents to be able to log into the portal, or it will allow messages from the program to go directly to parents to keep them updated on the status of their children. Also, from a safety standpoint, what this will do is this will allow us to know who's getting on the bus. So for those kids, those children who don't belong on a bus, it will actually help us in finding why did you get on the bus or what are you doing on our bus at this point and where they're going. It will stop us in a sense of those lost children, those children who get on the bus by accident. And then from when they get on the bus, then we're trying to find out where are their stops or where are they supposed to be. It also gives us route deviation alerts, which means that when a bus is en route and there is an accident or they have to deviate to another route, what the software will do is it will allow us to, and it will alert parents at that point, if we decide that's where we want to go, to let them know there's been a deviation from the normal route because there's been either an accident or something else that's happened to where they're going to be 10 minutes late from the prior time or their current time that they're supposed to be dropped off. It allows us to take a look at the path that the bus is taking. So we will know exactly where the bus is en route to dropping those students off to their stop. It will also alert us when a student is picked up from that stop on the bus. So God forbid if there was ever an accident or something that occurred, we'll finally know what students are on that bus. Not as far as stops go, where we know how many students in a neighborhood are supposed to take the bus. We'll actually know who is on the bus at a time, God forbid, there may be an accident. Part of the product is also training. So it's broken down so that there are certain things that the current company, bus company that we utilize right now that we do not have to purchase, like tablets. Tablets are on every bus. What we do is we're basically loading the software onto the buses. And then from there, it tracks into PowerSchool, which is our student information system, and it pulls student photos as well as student information into the system and allows us now to be able to take attendance each day on the bus for those children who are there. So we have 2 parts of potential cost savings. Part A is the Medicaid reimbursement. The Medicaid reimbursement are for those students, obviously, you know, who are Medicaid reimbursable. And second, it could be for buses. In other words, we find that our ridership during the day, month, week, year is something that we can take and move on to another bus, which will give us cost savings for the district. We do believe after looking at this software, there's a few ways that the software works. It does work with ID cards. It also works with pictures and the bus drivers actually tapping in that the student was on the bus. And in the future, there's future development for the software for every child that has a phone. In the future, it's not currently ready, but they can tap in so that they tap right in and it says, okay, the child has boarded the bus. Those are some of the things that the software can do and some of the things that we're looking for to enhance our transportation aspect as well as our safety aspect for students who are getting on the bus. We are still responsible for those students once they get on the bus, and we're also responsible to make sure that the students get from point A to point B. We pretty much have cameras, as you know, in every one of our schools. And now we'll at least have an auditing system that will be able to tell us who's on the bus and when they did get off the bus. So that's where I stand with the software right now. I'm open for any questions unless Dr. Avery or Nestor would like to talk about the Medicaid part of what we can possibly get. If not, I'm open for questions.
Any questions from the board? Ms. Jimenez?
My question is about what is an appropriate estimate of how much we can expect back from Medicaid for these costs?
Actually, that's a great question, and I don't think we could answer that yet based on the attendance portion of um, what we're going to get on that bus. In other words, the way it's done, the Medicaid portion of it is a student has to be on the bus n number of days. And since we have never really tapped into that yet, what we're trying to do is we're trying to take a look to see this year if we're able to gather the software, where that may take us. So I don't know. I mean, any estimated guess would be a really underestimated guess.
Yeah, and
Gotcha.
I can add to that. I think the other you know potential benefit is once we know that, it's probably going to be more than what we're going to pay for the software. So anything above that is going to be, profit for the district as we move forward, because you only can take a portion of Medicaid reimbursement based on once it hits a threshold, then you can take anything above that is how the district gets reimbursed for the Medicaid reimbursement. And so just adding to that, I mean, we just started in district Medicaid reimbursement, and I think what did we already receive so far? $500,000 just because
549.
because we started that this year, and so that's going to add on top of that. So we should be able to. I'm just looking for generating opportunities as best we possibly can. Sometimes you got to pay a little bit in order to get a little bit as well. So that's one of the things that we researched and figured out with this particular software. I think it's what 50 something thousand. PJ, what is it?
Yeah,
What is the
it's 54 initially because that's also has on-site training for the bus drivers, so they go to the bus company and they actually do training at the bus company, as well as our staff who's going to be there and do the training. Then it goes down to 42 and then 44 for the next 2 years.
Thank you.
Mr. Medina?
Thank you. Must applaud whoever brought this forward. The only thing I can't applaud that I haven't had this information sooner. That way I can study some more because I love this thing. What is the GPS Connect promotion that's only valid until 7/31/2026? That I see that gets this I believe it's a savings because it says negative 9,250.
That's right. Yeah, it is a savings. And what happens is the way the company works, Mr. Medina, is that since our bus company already has GPS capabilities on their tablets and on their buses, part of what we do is we are actually utilizing the software on their tablets to filter into the GPS Connect that they have so that we know exactly where that bus is, um, uh, pretty much every second of that route. And so, as part of it, they gave us a, initial deal or break of the 9250, on top of the one-time training that we're going to have, which is actually, as I said, pretty much a savings, because if you added that 92 to the 54 at that point, that's initially where they wanted to start out, and we were able to get them down to the 54,350 for the first year.
Absolutely. Second question. Wait a minute. My thing just went away. What's the name of the company again? Darn it. Second question. I see a number there. It says quantity, and I'm just wondering. That quantity says 200.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to. Go ahead.
So we did ask on pretty much how many vehicles they had, because this isn't just for the big yellow buses. This is for everything. So they said they have approximately 200 vehicles. Again, right now, I'm sure if we're under and it's 190, 7, we'll work that out, the difference. But we got what we were claimed that 200 vehicles that they had, in case there is another vehicle also that comes out if a bus, breaks down, or if they need another bus driver for a different route. We figured we'd be able to cover all areas of that based on the number that they gave us.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr.
Thank you, Madam
Traber?
Chair.
Yeah, so how much is this?
So initially, it's $54,350 for the
Okay,
first year.
Okay, I heard that part. I just wasn't sure when you was talking about the 90, if there was more that I was missing. So this contract is gonna be 54,000, then 42, 44 in
Yep.
subsequent years? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And then Mr. Benahan.
Thank you, Mr. Perry. Mr. Peter, when you said they're gonna know where the student's gonna be, all the information you talk about the student, location, stuff like that. The only people they're gonna have access to say where the student is have to be the school and the parents, right?
Yes.
The student have access to see to change location and stuff like that. You know how students sometimes very smart, about technology.
So right now, what I was told from the company is that we could set it up in a 3-tier. So one being the administrative offices that would know where the buses are because they'll be monitoring it. 2, we can give access to the schools so that the schools would know that their buses who are assigned to them are going to be late. And 3 is where the parents have what they call it's the parent subscriber, to where a parent can be alerted to where their students are on their way home at this point, or when they're just being picked up
Right, thank
on
you.
their
And
way to school, I should say.
thank you. And one more thing, the student have allowed, let's see something, God forgive, something happened. The student have allowed to put it in social media, something wrong in a fight or accident, something like that. Sometimes everything's go to social media. So are they a student allowed to do that? Just in case?
You mean if they were on the bus and there was an accident, you're saying?
And they try to put in social media, look at what happened. Everything is social media very fast.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dr. Avery, they'd have to defer that to you with the social media. I'm actually not quite sure. Listen, with kids with social media, as you know, if it gets out, and they have a phone, they're doing it all over the place. So I'm just not quite sure of our policy on what they can or can't do.
Because I'm worried about anything happening. The fast thing they do is put in Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, stuff like that. Instagram, look at what happened, and then the community going crazy. Just because something small, they put it very big. That's why I'm worried about if the students allowed, or they can change postings in social media about if anything happened, but God forgive, nothing happened. That's what I asked you.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Medina?
Hold on 1 second. I just want to know nobody.
Oh, you have
answered
one
that
more?
question. No, nobody.
Oh, I don't think they had the answer to that, they said.
Yeah, I think Dr. Avery, you may want to chime in. I'm not sure with the
I'm not sure
social
if that has
media
to
with
do
the
with,
child.
yeah.
Yeah.
In relations to the tracking mechanism on the bus and kids' ability to use their social media while they're on the bus, they are allowed to do that. We have no policies against any of that right now. And so, yes, they will probably put it out there regardless if it's true or false, but it's there because they have the ability to do it. Again, that is going to probably, be a topic of a discussion moving forward in the district. In the whole state of Connecticut. And so we're going to end up having to have that deeper conversation with our parents, community, staff, administrators, and the board moving forward. So that's probably going to be addressed here in the next couple of months once we kind of get a better stance of what we want to do around that, Mr. Benahan.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Avery. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Medina?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Have we identified, just in case, because I would like to be working in the light, have we identified, are there any neighboring towns or that use these services?
Yes. As far as Wayfinder goes, I can get you
A list.
I can get you a list of those neighboring towns that are utilizing the service.
Now, you actually also mentioned, Mr. Carafa, and these buses that we have right now with this contracted company that we are actually under contract with, and then there's have already the GPS, I guess you said the little tablet, if you would.
Yeah, the tablets, yeah.
But just because I love to read, just for clarity, some of this document that we have before us in the portal, it includes hardware. And me being a bus driver for so many years, I understand, the components, and that hardware means there is some kind of hardware. And it says it here, Transfinder software with hardware, and there's the annual fees. So if we go to, for example, this is telling me that we have hardware, so that including hardware. So where am I missing that piece real quick, if you don't mind?
So right now, we're not missing that piece. You're not, because the hardware that we have are on the buses already. So if we were to go out and we had to get our own tablets, this would probably be somewhere, if I remember right, $150,000 to $200,000 a year because of the tablet technology that we'd have to put on the buses. Right now, the company we're utilizing now has those tablets on the bus. So as far as the hardware, I'm not quite sure. Looking at what it says, we should not have any hardware like tablets or anything. The only hardware I can see off the top of my head is if they weren't mounted in a spot, there could be mounted onto the bus, but that shouldn't be part of this agreement because there is no hardware to mount since the buses already have that hardware mounted on the bus already. Now the
Okay,
software
that's
is
why
a
I brought
different
it up.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because it literally says that there is hardware. And my concern with the board and also our financial CEO is that, if this company that we already have on the contract doesn't win the bid following forward, where do we go? Now we have this technology that's in this software in these buses that they have. Of course, we can retrieve it and put it somewhere else, but now where are we going to put it in, if God forbid? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I do. I do.
So
And
that's
I
why.
think, Mr. Medina, part of what you're saying is true. When we go to new softwares, when we're
Question? Mr. Carafa?
I'm sorry, somebody's asking a question.
Hi. Mr.
Jennifer, something happened with your video and your voice.
I'm glad you identified who it was. I couldn't identify who it was.
Honestly, I couldn't either. I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I see her. She may have to log off and log back on. You're on mute, Mr. Benahan.
Yeah, Albert, we
Can you
can't
hear
hear
me?
you, FYI.
Now I can hear you.
I
We can hear
said
you
she
now,
was
Jennifer.
frozen. It's her because she's frozen. We can see her
You need
move.
to go off and get on, Jennifer. It threw me off about 5 minutes ago. I had to log back in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I switched devices also.
Willie, were you finished?
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
I guess you don't hear me.
I was pretty much. I didn't know anything. He was just letting it up because I'm just wondering what I was just trying to think ahead for all of us and together because I'm like, oh, if we change companies, God forbid, if something like that happen, we got to make sure that they have capability to add
Yeah.
this. And I know a lot of companies are doing this already, so that's why in my 26 years of working in this field, I know this technology assists in counting. So I look forward to this training and to work with hand in hand with you guys today because I am extremely motivated. This is awesome. This is great for parents and also for, like he said, as a bus driver, we have to go and if there's an incident or accident, we have to fill out all these little cards. This will literally just eliminate that. They can just touch what kids are on the board and it does it for them. So it's just really great that they can focus and it's a great safety thing. So appreciate it.
Are we have Miss Paris back because she's still frozen?
She
Do
just
you hear
got
me?
back.
Yeah,
Yep,
she's
I
on.
am.
Okay. Am I good now?
Yes.
You're a little
Oh,
closer.
I had a clarifying question because I mean it could have been because I was cut off, so I didn't hear him right. But I thought Ms. Media said that there's a line item here for hardware devices. I
No.
didn't see that in the contract, so I wanted to clarify what it said.
There's a
No.
mention in the contract for hardware, but we don't need it because of the tablets.
Okay, yeah, I know. I was just asking. I don't see a line item, so I was confused at what he was asking. But I could have.
Oh, absolutely, Ms. Perez. If you look at the bottom of the
It could have been
contract,
me.
yep, can you hear me, Ms. Perez?
Yes.
What it is, if you look at the bottom of the contract, it says
Okay.
TransFinder software and service with GPS hardware. And then it ends also with another line that says TransFinder software with hardware annual fees. And that's where I was getting at because I think it bounced her off again. Well, listen, as far as I'm concerned, as far as the contract and reading contracts, I'm fine
Right,
for it being right here where
I
it
do
is
hear you.
because
Sorry.
it does cover us. And if we need it, it's right there. It's like it's supposed to. Because we don't have it, it's the savings for them too, because they don't have to provide that component, but it's on there for whatever
Yeah.
reason. But thank you.
I did hear it. I just I think what happened was it was frozen, so I couldn't hear your full question. I just need clarity. So with that said, is there a motion?
Motion to approve the TransFinder Wayfinder proposal.
Second,
Mr. Ben.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, Medina Willie.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Good job.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate
Thank
this.
you. And then Maritza, do me a favor, if I do cut off, can you take over? Because I'm having
Yeah.
some internet issues. So if you
Sure.
hear me cutting off, you could just take over for me
Sure, no
in this
problem.
next part. The
Yep.
last item of the agenda is last but not least, Hill for Literacy contracts. I think Ms. Hughes is presenting, or
Yes.
I know.
And,
Okay.
and Gina,
And
we'll
Ms. Gamble?
apologize having you the last one, Gina. So your last one for the best one for last. So thank you for hanging in there with us. Margie's going to introduce, and talk a little bit about the Hill and the partnership that we're trying to do and our continue. So Margie, I'll give it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. This contract in the amount of $150,960 represents a continuation of our ongoing partnership with the Connecticut State Department of Education and the Hill for Literacy. Through this collaboration, new teachers in grades K through 6 will receive professional learning, and all teachers in grades K through 6 will receive job-embedded coaching focused on the implementation of foundational reading instruction aligned with the science of reading. This coaching somebody must have their speaker on.
Rob, can you mute yourself? We're getting feedback.
Thank you. The coaching model is designed to strengthen instructional practices, build our teacher capacity, and improve student outcomes in early literacy. During the previous year, we were able to invest $500,000 to support this work. Due to budget constraints, the district's contribution from the upcoming year will be reduced to $150,960. In recognition of our continued commitment to the initiative, the Connecticut State Department of Education will provide additional funding to support principal leadership development. Principals will work with the Hill to enhance their capacity to lead and monitor data teams and small group intervention instruction. Ensuring that our schools can more efficiently identify and address students' illiteracy needs. This partnership allows the district to sustain critical literacy coaching for teachers while also expanding our leadership support for principals, creating a more comprehensive and aligned approach to improving literacy instruction across the district. Jenna, do you want to add anything?
I'm happy to be here to answer questions and just speak to the work that has happened in the past, but I won't add anything just for time.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm gonna go Ms. Estremera Jimenez.
Yeah, my only question is so we just approved the Effective School Solutions proposal. How does that integrate with this? And I feel like you probably answered a little bit of it, but just kind of wanted clarity. This is coaching teachers as well. So are we duplicating efforts? How is that
No,
gonna work?
this is for foundational reading skills. So the science of reading is all about building teacher capacity for teaching the foundational skills to help ensure that all our students, by the time they get to high school or out of 6th grade, can read effectively.
Thank you.
And an effective school solution is for behavioral work, that kind of stuff. It's totally separate. It can't be combined. So well, if you can get the kids to kind of behave in class, they can get the learning better. So, but again, it does work hand in hand, but it's totally separate, contracts.
Are there any other questions?
Mr. Traber?
You me, sir.
Do we have grant money?
This would be part of our Alliance grant.
For all of it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I make the same caveat I said before about why we're discussing this at the end of July versus the end of the fiscal year, but otherwise I'm fine.
Thank you. Mr. Medina?
Thank you to the chair. Ms. Hughes, you mentioned that the state is thinking to collaborate and try to help and support this work. In what capacity are they planning to do so?
That was the component where I talked about the building principal capacity for leading data teams and small group instruction within their buildings. We still haven't finalized. Yes, they would pick up this money. The $150,000 is strictly for our teacher side of the work. And what they're going to propose and we're still in discussions on it is the principal side.
To work hand in. Thank you very much.
And to add to that, Mr. Medina, I think one of the things is the whole state of Connecticut is focusing on the science of reading, making sure that every kid has the opportunity to start early and be able to kind of perform and read at grade level at a certain point in their elementary career, right? And so one of the things that's important for our district is that the leadership capacity to be able to support that work is in place. And so, Gina, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about what that is. And I know they're still working out the dollar amount, but I think it's going to be over $200,000 an additional that the state's going to be providing us. But in order for us to participate, we have to have some, capacity building for the work as well. So we have to show that we're willing to provide, again, last year we had over $500,000 that we provided, but we were not able to provide that much money for the project. So that's where the state's going to come in and kick in some dollar amounts, and that's what we're finalizing now. And Mr. Traber, that's why it's so late to try to figure out, because we just became members of that state cohort for this year, and that was just announced. And so now we're trying to connect the dots and get it. But we will, we take heed to your comments on the last couple of things that we put forth, and bringing it closer to the end of school year moving forward. And so I appreciate that, and I think that's important for us as well, as we work through this budgetary process. So again, it's been a little tricky this year as well. So thank you for that. And Jenny, you want to talk about that?
Sure. Last year, so the Hill for Literacy is a vendor that works really closely with the state of Connecticut, and we're part of the Connecticut Literacy Model, which really works with multiple towns in Connecticut to build that sustainable process for literacy, as Dr. Hughes and Mr. Avery were talking about. Last year, the Connecticut Literacy Model funded $363,000. So they did fund a significant portion. So my understanding is that the Connecticut Literacy Model in the state would be funding something similar to, or in addition to, or even more than that. So really it's a partnership where we're working with state funded money as well as the district money to make sure that we're building sustainable structures. As Marge was saying, we want to make sure we're building teacher capacity to use data to inform instruction, as well as building capacity of our school leaders to really understand how to use that data to drive that instruction, and really use data to make those informed decisions. So from the leadership level, the assessment level, the tiered instructional level, and professional learning, really the multi-tiered systems of support to build sustainability so that we could continue to improve reading outcomes year to year.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands, so is there a motion?
Motion to approve the Hill for Literacy contract.
Second,
Mr.
Medina.
Benares.
All right, I have heard second from Mr. Medina. So, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, Willie Medina.
Any opposed? Mr. Traber says aye, I see that. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes. Thank you, Ms. Gamble and
Thank
Ms.
you.
Hughes.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
Through the chair.
now, Willie, you can
Through
say
the
that
chair.
motion from earlier.
Through the chair.
Mr. Medina,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Good
second by
job,
Mr.
guys.
Bennahan.
All
All in
right.
favor say aye.
Good.
Aye,
Aye.
Willie
All
Medina.
right, meeting
Aye.
adjourns. Meeting adjourns
Thank
at
you.
8:25. Thank you all.
Thank